Hello everyone. Welcome back to another video with me. My name is Cotton Candy Doll. If you're new here, welcome. Welcome all. Hi. This is a shifting video. I'm not going to give anything away. You won't hear any noises in the background. We decided to take Frodo with us to the Resident Evil universe, me and Hawks. But then also Toshinori wanted to come along because he said he couldn't see himself being left behind. We sat down, we had a talk before we went. Sorry, I am jumping right into the video. It might be a little long. Go get your drinks, go get your snacks or candy, whatever it is to make you sit through my cringy video, okay? This video is going to be cringy, just so you know. Fair warning. I hope I didn't give away too much in the thumbnails. I know I sometimes do, I'm sorry. So we're sitting at the table. They tell me that, you know, um, Endeavor thinks he would like to try and go too. But I tell them I don't know. I don't think Endeavor should go. He doesn't even understand the whole situation. He knows nothing about the Resident Evil universe. Toshinori, you don't either because I don't know who went on the rescue mission. I don't remember. I know for sure Hawks went. And I know for sure that doctor guy went, and there was another guy. There's also the guy that I fought too, back in like a long, long time ago, like back in the day. Not really back in the day, but it certainly feels like it talking about it now. It feels ancient because it's Frodo is almost 10 months now, and so much time has passed since then, so we decide to go. I'm going to tell you guys how successful we were at shifting, because think about it. I shifted that reality, and they're trying to shift with me to a different reality. So, this is what happened. Hawks decided to take Frodo and, bring Frodo. So, Hawks was holding Frodo the whole time, okay? To my surprise, we all ended up in the Resident Evil universe. We were in a lab. It was not the same room that Frodo was born in. I thought for sure we would end up in like his tube area. That way I can kind of explain more to Hawks and how it works and talk to him about the virus, about the different strains of that virus, And so we're in there in this room, and the room is pretty big. It's dark, but there's light around the corner. There's a window on this side, there's a window on that side. Clearly it's dark outside. I don't know why it happens to be nighttime when we got there, but it was night. So he's holding Frodo, he's walking up. And it's weird because it's like we didn't shift at the same time, even though we had that in mind. And the shifting method he used was like a focus sleep or something. I told him, yeah, I'm not doing that. I'm gonna have my guide pull me. That way he can just pull me back afterwards. And I even had like a safe word and everything. So for my safe word, when I shift it, I basically write the name of something, anything you want, anything to pull you back, something familiar, something catchy in your brain. For me, it was pineapple. Pineapple is the word I use for this. My safe word is my safe word in BBS with me and because you already play together. So I put that word in an envelope, and then you seal it. The seal represents the barrier that's surrounding it. Basically, you have a barrier surrounding your word that you keep. What you do is you set your inanimate object, whatever it may be, because your guide is a solid, you should have a solid object by now. I don't know if I showed you guys how to do that. You basically take your guide, and your guide basically is in a form here as something else. So basically, I set my guide on top of it. So that way my guide is protecting that barrier as well. Now, the barrier should be protected. But what happens is when you say the word, the barrier breaks, your guide is able to pull you. Is that in the dirt? For me, all I have to say is my guide's name, come help. Come help me. Or I just call him and he'll like be there in like a second or whatever. So I had my, safe word and everything. So we're rounding the corner. And lo and behold, guys, lo and behold, to my very fear, to my very bone, to the very like, to my very like blood. My blood was like probably cold. I probably turned as pale as a freaking ghost. I was literally quaking in my boots because when I turned the corner, there was Hawks inside of a glass cage, infected. Yes, there's an infected Hawks in that reality inside of a glass cage. Guess what? Doctor is over there working, doing some stuff. He didn't even hear us walking up behind him. So I'm standing there in awe, staring at the glass with the creepy, infected Hawks in it with the blood red eyes, with, black stuff running from his eyes and his wings all mutated, pieces of it falling off. He looks like he was rotting. Basically, yeah, it's like rotting from the inside out. And the doctor turns around and he's like, "What are you doing here?" Toshinori, out of nowhere, just appears like out of the corner. He's walking up. "Hey, what is this?" And the doctor is like, "I couldn't destroy the infected version of him because if I did, that virus that's connected to him is directly connected to Frodo." Frodo sits up. Now remember, Hawks is holding him. Out of nowhere, Frodo floats over to where the infected Hawks is in there. He looks over at the buttons where the glass is, is keeping him contained. And the light turns green and the door opens. And the doctor turns around really slowly because infected Hawks is not facing us. He's facing the opposite glass and he's banging into the glass. The glass on this side is slowly cracking. So the glass is cracking on this side. Crack, 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 all the way down. Doctor turns around, runs over to the cage, presses the button. Just as he presses the button, infected Hawks turn around and bam, hits the glass. He hits so hard the doctor goes flying back. Toshinori, fast as he is, catches him. Right. Hawks dashes over to Frodo, grabs Frodo. He's like, "I think Frodo needs to go. I think we need to get Frodo out of here. We need to leave now." Me, still standing there, quaking, fear engulfing in my body, shaking like a freaking leaf in the wind, backing away from the obscene horror that I see of him. I just cannot believe that they kept this guy. What the heck? So, Toshinori immediately leaves. I don't know I don't know how he does it so well. He can shift it really good to where he can just leave. And he also managed to take Frodo with him. So me and Hawks are standing there. The doctor getting up, he's like this, his shoulders and everything. Luckily, Toshinori caught him because he probably would have went through that wall if he hadn't caught him. So finally, I snap out of it. I'm like, "What is happening here?" I'm like, "We have to get out of here." I was like, "We need to go." So I'm trying to like back away, and Hawks like grabs my wrist and he won't let go. And I'm like, "Let go of me," you know. And the doctor is over there. He goes back over to where the other Hawks is, and he's like, "I have all of his records here." He pulls out a folder, and he has his whole body chart, his scan. You guys know this is my area of expertise because you know what I went to go to school for, right? Yes, laboratory scientist, and also I wanted to try and find a way to reverse engineer the genetic DNA inside of the blood of Mr. X. You guys know that didn't go well. I nearly died, okay? He would have knocked my freaking head off. So luckily my guide came like just in time to save me from that. Anyway, back to what happened. So he's like, "Do you think you want to work on this?" And he holds it in front of me and I'm like, I was like, "What do we do about this guy?" He says, "There's nothing we can do. The only thing we can do is keep him contained because Frodo is directly connected to him." And Hawks is like, "We could kill him." And he's staring at this guy. And then, so the infected Hawks turns and he looks at me. So he's looking like this at me, like through the freaking glass, his blood red freaking eyes. And I'm trying to pull my wrist away from Hawks because I'm like, I'm getting the fuck out of here. I'm not about to stand here while he breaks the dang glass. You guys are crazy. Like, I'm like trying to back away, and he's like, and then the doctor turns around and he's like, if you don't want to work on his chart, then I'll do it. And he goes over and he like hangs it on his whiteboard. So he goes away, he's like writing stuff on his pad. And I'm just like, I was like, this isn't right. Like, this is not, I was like, this is not good. And Hawks is like, what isn't good? I'm like, nothing. I'm like, let's go. And he's like, are you sure you want to leave now? I said, look at that. Look, you want to stay here and keep staring at him? You're waiting for him to break out? And the doctor goes, well, he's not going to break out. It's going to be just fine. And I'm like, okay, well, we're leaving. And I'm like, come on, Hawks. And he's still holding my arm and he's staring at this guy. I'm like, what the heck? And then finally he looks at me and he's like, I think it's time for us to go. So he's pulling my hand. He's walking with me. He's like, okay, time to shift back. So I'm walking down the hallway, down the dark hallway. And before I know it, I'm all alone down that hallway. The lights are flickering, okay? And it seems the only light is in that room. It's almost as if this is like a hidden secret location or something. And there's like windows. And I can see outside the window and there's like hills, it's dark as trees. It kind of reminds me of one of the Resident Evil games. Like when you look out, you see one of those scenes in the background. But it's weird. It's just the creepiest thing ever. So I'm walking down the hallway and I'm like, okay, I need to leave. And I can't make myself shift out that easily. Like, I don't know why Toshinori is able to do it so easily. My guy comes and he's like, follow me. I'm walking and following him. And the thing is, sometimes my guide likes to tease me a little bit. I don't know what that's about. And then he's like, come on. And I'm walking slowly and then he just grabs my hand. We exit out through the doors and I shifted out. I basically came back here. So I came back here. I was just like, I don't know if I ever want to shift there again. I know I kept saying I wanted to go back to the Resident Evil universe, but now I'm thinking I don't know if it's such a good idea anymore. I wanted to go there and be like director of Umbrella. Not director of Umbrella, I'm sorry. I wanted to be head of I wanted to lead Leon's team out of the village successfully and grab Ashley, because there's a better way to do it. I'm sorry. Sending one man to that place was a freaking suicide mission, okay? That was a suicide mission. There's no way one person could survive all of that. I mean, just think about like when you're in a castle and you're surrounded by all those things coming at you. Anyway, I went home feeling a little bit like terrified because I was like, I don't know if I want to shift anywhere for a while. You know, what if I end up back there? And I'm like, no, that doesn't happen because in My Hero Academia, I can travel there and be fine. I have no problem going to that universe. Usually I don't. The next day, I'm just like, I'm sitting up on my bed. I pick up my guide, you know, the physical object form, and I go, I tell him, I'm like, we need to have a conversation. I have a conversation with him. You guys know it's yes and no. And whatever he doesn't want to answer or whatever he doesn't answer, I know that basically means like don't dabble in it or he's just not going to tell me, period. So my guide and I are having a conversation for about an hour. Nighttime rolls around. I said, okay, I think it's time for me to shift back to Resident Evil. I know I said I would never shift there again, but I need to go back. I need to go back. I'm gonna look at that guy. I'm gonna face my fear. I go back there. I go back to that very room. My guide is like, follow me. He's like, come on. I'm following him in there. There's no doctor in the room, and there's no infected hawks in the glass cage. The glass is shattered, okay? There's a huge hole there. There's glass all over the floor, broken around where he broke out. And I'm looking around, I'm like, doctor? Doctor? Now, the thing is, most of you probably would think, like, you need to get out of there, you need to run, but that guy is not going to stay in a place he was contained or like, caged in. He's not going to stay there. Why would you stay somewhere that you tried to escape from? So this right now is the safest place right now where I'm standing, like in that spot where he broke out at. Because he's not going to be waiting for me outside the cage. He busted out. He's gone. And, you know, no one thought it was a big deal. I have a problem with that. So I just left there. My guide is like, I came, he was like, let's go. So I left with my guide, came back. As soon as I got back here, because I had only been gone maybe like 10 minutes or something, it hasn't even, you guys know when I shift places, I'm really only gone like 20 minutes, even though it's been like hours. I don't know how time works there. It's weird. So I get back here and I'm just like, okay, no one really listened to me. Let's see if they'll listen to me now. I have to let them know what happened because they don't know. I'm pretty sure they did not travel back there. Also, the doctor guy is missing too, so I don't know where he went. I also could not find like the files on the guy that on the infected hawks that he gave me or whatever. Okay, go. I never call him by his name. Well, so I leave. I went back to My Hero Academia universe to like warn everybody and tell them this guy got out. Now I don't think this guy is gonna come to My Hero Academia. He's not gonna come there because I'm pretty sure he doesn't know how to shift. He basically cannot really communicate or doesn't speak, yet has have any comprehension. I'm pretty sure his brain is being rotten from the inside because basically this is a dead thing, basically a zombie. So yeah, I go back to there to warn them about what happened. The first thing I do is I go to the school and I try to look for Toshinori, and I can't find Toshinori. And they said, well, Toshinori wasn't feeling well today. Toshinori's at home. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna go see him. So I go over to Toshinori's house and I'm walking in and I hear crying. So I walk in and it's like complete chaos because Toshinori doesn't know how to take care of Frodo. He's freaking out. He's like, Frodo's sitting there on the floor and I look over at Frodo and he's like, I can't figure out how to make his bottle anymore. Like, I don't know. And then he's like, so I'm watching him because I'm like, Toshinori, you should know how to do this. We've been, you've had Frodo, you've kept Frodo several times. It's not your first time keeping Frodo. I forgot, guys. Toshinori is a human being. He's human. What's happening to him right now, his reaction now, is trauma from what he saw when we went to Resident Evil. He doesn't realize that he's going through this trauma, but I see how his hands are shaking, how he can't think. He's like sweating. He's just like, and I'm like, okay. I'm like, I'll take over from here. And I'm like, Frodo. So Frodo stands up. And this is the funniest thing ever. He's playing this game with me. He's standing up. I'll look away. Then I'll look back. He'll be sitting down. But then he'll be closer. And I'm like, Frodo. And he's like laughing. And I'm like, okay, well, he's obviously playing, tricks on me because he's obviously getting up and I think he's walking now. He just doesn't want me to see him walking yet. But I don't know what that's about. It's so freaking cute, guys. It's so cute. Toshinori. I don't know how to. I'm like, just go take a shower. Go take a shower. I go, you're all, disgusting and sweating. And he's like, I am. And I'm like, go, and he goes and he takes a shower. And I pick up, because I don't, right now, Toshinori, if Frodo was not there, I would totally like eat him alive. But especially with him in that state, he's such a mess. It's just crazy. So like I'm not used to seeing that. He's like flustered and So he goes and he takes a shower and I'm in there with Frodo. I put Frodo in the little baby prison. I turn on the TV. It's all this weird crap on. I watch it with him. We're sitting there, then I give him his bottle. Frodo starts getting tired. He's like falling asleep. And then there's a knock on my door. I open it. Endeavor comes in. He's like, how you doing? I'm like, good. I'm like, Frodo is getting really sleepy. He's like, huh. Because I'm wondering if I should take him if he's tired. I'm like, no, you can take him. It's fine. So Endeavor gets him in his car seat and everything. He's like already like starting to doze off. I'm like, yeah, that little guy's tired. He's like, did you see him walk? I'm like, I think he's walking. And we like secretly share like a little joy. There's something about him walking that's like I couldn't physically see it, but he'll show it to me when he's ready. Like he's a funny kid. So he takes Frodo he leaves, and then like it's only been like 5 minutes, and then there's another knock on my door, and I go, oh, he must have brought Frodo back. Maybe he forgot something. And I open the door, and it's Hawks, and Hawks walks in, and he's like, hey. I'm like, hey. And I realized I didn't tell Toshinori what happened. I did not go back. That I went back to the My Hero. That I went back to Resident Evil before I came back here. And I needed to tell him what happened because they have no clue. Not that I think it'll affect them, but just so they can know, you know. I wasn't sure if I should tell Toshinori because I know for a fact he's freaking out. So you know what? I was just like, I'm gonna tell Hawks and I'll tell Toshinori at a different time, but we need to go somewhere private because I don't want Toshinori to hear what I have to say. So I go into the bathroom. Toshinori's in the shower. I just open the door. I like pull back the curtain. I'm like, hey. And then Hawks walks into the bathroom too. And he's like, we're gonna get ready to go because I need to talk some things over with him. About Frodo. And Toshinori is like, okay. He's like, well, I'll see you next time then. So come back afterwards, so you can. I was like, why don't you just get some rest? He's like, you know what? I am tired. I'm gonna get some rest. So I kiss him, and he's all wet and everything. And your hair gets a little wet, but I'm just like, whatever. So then we leave. So we get outside, and so Hawks opens the door for me, and I get in. And he's driving. We're driving along the road, and he's like, "What is it you want to tell me?" And I'm like, he's like, "It's a long ride. We have plenty of time to talk while we're in the car." And I go, "I think I want to talk to you when we get to your house because I feel like that would be better." And he's like, "I don't want to talk to you." And I'm like, "Okay, well, since you don't want to talk to me, then maybe I should just go." And he's like, "No, we're not going to be talking." I'm like, "Okay, well," I was like, I mean, we can still talk too, because I knew what he had in mind. And I'm like, we can still talk too. He's like, I would rather talk in the car when I get to the house, and we're not talking. I'm not gonna talk. I'm not saying a word. And I go, what's wrong with you? Because he sounds kind of angry. And he's like, the other day, the infected hawk's the other one, the other me. He always said the other me because I saw how you looked at him. I said, yeah, you did see how I was looking at him. I was freaked out. Okay. He goes, you were literally shaking. I'm like, I know. I was shaking because I didn't expect to see that. I said the reason I was so shocked by it and so like disturbed is because of how much different he looked than before. Because he looked more human. He was rotting away more. His eyes were bloodshot red. There was black stuff coming from it. But also around the eyes were dark. The skin was like eating in. It was turning black. Okay. He looked scary. And yes, I was afraid, you know. And he's like, I've never seen you that, afraid of someone. I've never seen you react that way. It was like you completely lost it, like you lost your cool. And I was like, yeah, I was about ready to pee my pants, okay? I'm gonna be honest. I was freaked out. Hawks is like, and then he was staring at you. I'm like, yeah. He's like, that made me just want to ravage you right in front of him. And I'm like, why? He's like, because I wanted to make a mess of you in front of him so he could watch. Because you're mine. I said, what is going on, Hawks? He's like, I understand his desire. I know what he feels. It's a deep burning. And I'm like, a deep burn? Sounds like you need a doctor. And he's like, no. He goes, stop it. This is a desire. He wants more than anything to protect you. And I'm like, that's not the vibe I was getting. I was getting the vibe that, he would like eat you alive, probably rip your limbs apart and, rip your guts out, freaking bite your brains or, just like drink your blood. Like that's the vibe I was getting from him, like a bloodthirsty killing vibe. Even if, I'm not going to say even if this guy was in some way or form wanting me sexually. Do you think for a simple like second that he's gonna just be like this gentle zombie that's gonna do stuff? Also, I'm gonna get infected. Hello, that was the big risk that I was taking with before when they said, Fro. That's why I decided not to give birth, and then they took the me of. I'm gonna explain this, and this is gonna sound really weird to you guys. Also, I don't know how long this video is, but you guys, I told you it would be cringy, didn't I? Um, I'm gonna explain it so that you understand. So the you from yesterday. Do you remember what you did yesterday? Okay, imagine the you from that yesterday. Going to a portal instead of coming home from school or coming home from work or whatever you're doing, you winded up somewhere else. And that you, from that perspective, that you got infected or something, right? All right. That's the other you. It's not actually you. The you from today is the normal you. Okay. So this guy is Hawks. Okay, it's just an infected version of him from that time. Okay, and he's actually, if I had slept with this guy, like the other me that slept with him, she gave birth to Frodo, but she was like a dummy, or like a gosh, she was a dummy. Yeah, dumb dumb. No, she was like basically like a shell, if I could say anything, okay? A shell made like me, everything perfect, and then gone. So technically not real, but real enough just to give birth to Frodo. Because if that me, that him, that he, you guys know what I'm saying, then I would be infected. That's how that would work. And it would be the same exact way for Hawks, the him of yesterday. But the doctor did that, okay? He made that happen so that Hawks couldn't get infected. I don't understand. I don't know what he did, but that's what happened. He said, so Hawks' thing is he's never seen me that afraid before in my entire life. It made him want to make a mess of me. It made him want to ravage me in front of him. He liked seeing me all afraid and, torn up. And, he just, it just really turned him on so much that he just had to take me right then and there. But he couldn't do it. And he said, your reaction even, um, my reaction also stirred something inside of him because I was trying to pull away and he was grabbing me. He didn't want to let go. He felt like tightening his grip because he liked seeing me struggle, and he loved the worried look on my face because of how it made him feel. And I said, that's kind of sadistic, don't you think? Thinks that way. He said, we're almost at the house. So I get to the house. I'm like, okay, I already know what to expect. This guy, he's obviously real thirsty. Like he's not for like water. Not thirsty. What's the word? Gosh, he's obviously just really turned on. He hasn't had any in a while. That's what it is. I haven't really, given myself or anything like that. So I knew this was gonna be like something. So we get to the house. He's like, go upstairs, and he's like behind me. And so like I'm listening to his voice, and he sounds very like, his voice is very like, I don't know. It's just very alpha-y. Like he's like telling me like what to do. He's like, he closes the door, then he locks it, and he's like, get on the bed. He's like, so I get on the bed. He like comes toward me, but it was like, it's in such a threatening way. I'm just like, okay. And then he's like, take off your clothes, and I'm like, so taking my clothes off slowly, and he's like, let me help you take them off. And so he starts taking them off quickly. It's almost like he wants to like rip them, but he's not going to do it. So then my clothes come off completely, and he's only wearing his shirt. He's wearing like pants, and I'm still like in my underwear and stuff. So I'm on the bed sitting there, and then he comes over closer, and he's sitting there on the bed, and I'm like, what are you waiting for? Like he's sitting on the edge of the bed and his back is like facing me now. So he came close, then he backed away, and I'm just like, what is going on? Oh my gosh. Guys, such a freaking schemer. What the heck, okay? I'm on the bed with him, and he's like, lay down. So I lay down, and I feel someone touching my leg, like grab my leg, and I look over and I see this huge arm from under the bed. Toshinori climbs out from under the bed. I kid you not, he climbed out from under his goddamn bed. And I'm like, how did he even get in the house? How did he get? Did you have a key? What's going on? So then I'm like, okay, you know, and he's like completely naked. I'm like, all right. I go, hey guys, I need to tell you something. Because I think it's time. It's time. Okay, I need to bring this up. I need to speak before, you know, before I forget. Because obviously this is, I'm not going to remember that after this. I have to like speak quickly. And he's like, shh, don't say anything. Don't say a word. And I'm like, and then he's like, no. And then I'm like, in fact, the Hawks got out. He's gone. And Toshinori says, what? He's gone. I'm like, he got out. He's got out. He got out. I don't know where he is, okay? I didn't see him. I just know. And Hawks is like, why did you go back there by yourself? I'm like, because I needed to reconfirm my own fear. I needed to face it. And I have my guide. That guy is a funny guy, okay? He's really funny. Ha ha ha. I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm like, I just want to tell you guys what happened. He goes, he's like, and then what happened? Like Toshinori, and then what happened? So he starts like touching my face and everything, and I'm like, you guys, what are we gonna do? We have to do something. And then they're like ignoring that, and then I'm laying on the bed, and so then Hawk starts kissing me. Toshinori starts, you know, playing with my hair, and he's like rubbing on my back. Then he started like, he started kissing on my back, and then lower, and then like, and then Hawks went to like his favorite place, my freaking nipples, and he's like sucking on my nipples and stuff, and then he's like, so then he sat me down so that I was like sitting on him, and then like he was like pulling my, you know, he's pulling my panties down, and then he's like kissing on my neck and stuff, and then Yoshinori is like rubbing on like rubbing on the other side of me, and they're basically trying to like, I don't know what they're doing actually. Ever since we got back from Resident Evil, their whole attitude, everything is kind of just like, I don't know, it's weird. Like they enjoy that much that they had that it like that it really turned him on that much. And they're just like, I'm gonna make, and then he's like, I'm gonna make a mess of you. And he's like, so then his hands go, you know, to work on me, and then you know, he's like in me, and then you know, and then he's like rubbing his thumbs on me, like over like my nipples, and he's like, and then Toshinori comes behind me, and he's rubbing from like the back, and I'm like, do not go, do not go there, because you guys know how I feel about, you know, trying on my ass or anything. And he's like, it made me want to. Your reaction to him made me want to, and I'm like, he's like, I want to see you in that state again. I want to wreck you while you're in that state. And so like Ox was like pounding me. Toshinori was like touching himself and touching me. And then, you know, Toshinori, when he entered me and he like was hitting my G spot, and then and then it was like orgasming, and then Ox just also went back in again. And it was constant. and it was just so much of it, and it was too much, and I was just like, I was like panting, like I couldn't like, I was trying to catch my breath, I was trying to like breathe. Because the thing about, intercourse or sex is like, it's like when you do it, it's like running 3 miles if you do it correctly. That's exercise, okay? That's you're burning off so many calories. Speaking of which, I'm on a diet. Anyway, so they started pounding me. I'm like, and then by the time they were done with me, I was, a mess. This, you know, just everywhere, just a mess. Like I felt a certain way. Like I felt violated like a lot, but I also like enjoyed it too much to be angry. And I didn't know I could feel that way. But they were like asleep. I was like sandwiched between them. They were like both had their arms on me, and I tried to get up, but they were like holding me down. I just felt like they were doing that on purpose, like trying to stop me from leaving. And it was like my words. In fact, the Hawks got out, just like went over their head or went through them because they did not listen to it at all. So what I decided, guys. You know what I decided in that moment when they were doing all that stuff to me with all the pleasure I felt? I don't care. It's not my problem. It's not, I'm not going to try and find this guy. He's not going to find me. And it's no big deal. And I don't know why Frodo let him out that time, but hey, I mean, if Frodo has some type of special ability to call this guy or something, and he happens to call him to your reality and you all could become infected, then that's not my problem because you should have listened to me. Like, also, how did my fear and stuff get you guys off like that? Like, how did it make you guys go crazy? So, guys, you know what I'm thinking, right? I am gonna get them back for this. Like, I want them to be, trembling in that way and be a mess. I already saw Toshinori a mess. He was a hot mess when I got to his house. So I can't even imagine what he would be like. I don't want to come back to the My Hero Academia zombie universe or infected universe. But I don't know. I mean, I feel like I told them what I needed to tell them. They weren't in a state of where they wanted to listen to me. So that's their fault. It's not my problem, like I said. That guy's connected to Frodo. They can't kill him. I don't want anything to happen to my kid. Somebody, one of the people I was talking to, like in my Discord, he says he has a solution. He can like change him human or whatever. Shout outs to you, Nico. Shout outs to all of you watching. Thank you so much for watching my channel. All of you who have been there from the beginning with me, all the way until now. I know I've been doing my videos a lot later, and that's just because I've been so busy. And I'm sorry. And I thank you for being patient and waiting for a video like this. I told you guys this video will be cringy. I don't know what's gonna. That was my first time sleeping with both of them at the same time. Now they didn't. They wanted to, like, I guess double penetrate me, but I kind of wasn't having it. Like, I don't want to be stressed out that much. Hawks, you're humongous. And Toshinori, you're pretty big too. So yeah, I don't know if I don't know if I'm ready for that yet. But having them take turns, I got a lot of love milk. So yeah, love milk, the best possible milk. Yeah, they I don't know what I'm gonna do when I go back there. Gosh, Toshinori hiding under the freaking bed. Are you kidding me? Are you gonna hide under my bed? Like, I hope not. Like, seriously, that would be so scary if he was like hiding under my bed. I also wanted to tell him to stop coming here. Like, I want to tell him so bad. But whenever I try and talk to him, it's always like Hawks is there or someone else. So I can't talk to him. Today would have been perfect if he wasn't a mess and Frodo was there. Hawks refusing to listen to me and also having this strange fetish about having me scared like that. Or watching me like trembling that way. I don't know, man. So I definitely have to get them back. Like, I have to. Like, they're not going to get away with this. Because I feel like that was just, they were just flat out, just, they did not want to talk about what happened. I brought it up. I tried to. I knew I would melt in their. I knew they would, yeah. I knew I would like melt and I wouldn't remember or be able to tell them. So that's why I tried to, hurry up and tell them. And it didn't work, as you guys saw. But I had to let you guys know what happened because I'm going back there again. And, I might go back to I might go back to like drugging them or something. Like, I don't know. I mean, I want them to feel how I felt, weak and scared, like a scared, weak person, like a coward. That's how I felt. You know what? I was a coward. I backed away. I was shaking. I was scared. I was a coward. And for some reason, it prompted this reaction from them. So, crazy, right? Anyway, I wanted to let you guys know what happened. I hope my video wasn't too long. But I told you guys it was not going to be a short video. So, my next video probably won't be again until next week or something. I want to try and do one sooner. But, next week is Thanksgiving. So if I don't see you guys before that, happy Thanksgiving, everybody. And then it's going to be Christmas, which is, Christmas is my favorite year. Also, I am going on a diet too. So then I'm trying to lose 100 pounds. If I lose 100 pounds, then I'm going to start small. I'm not going to do it all at once. I'm going to try and lose 50. I've done it before. It wasn't hard. I just got tired of eating the same food every day because, and I can actually choose better stuff to eat this time. I think I'll do better, much better this time because I actually have a lot more control over. You learn from your mistakes, you do. So, no more hamburgers for me. No more French fries. Just fruit and vegetables and fish and nuts and whatever else I can find that's edible. No sugar. I'm going to completely eliminate sugar. No, that's not what this video is about. Hey, when you guys want to shift again, if you guys have shifting questions, you can ask me. I'm happy to answer anything. Someone in my last video asked if shifting was real. I had to tell them yeah, because it is. I don't think they've ever shifted before. The methods I use, I don't really use methods. I kind of just use my energy. My energy is what happens. Again, when I shift, everything around me starts changing. I slowly see it start to turn. It'll act as a wheel. Your feet will even begin to your feet will shift. You'll feel it. For those of you guys who use sleep induced shifting, if that works for you, if you're okay with it, then fine. I like having consciousness. I like being able to know what's going on and have control over it. So I try not to use that method. But you know what? It's for those of you who don't know how to use your energy, that is kind of a hard way to do it, I guess. So for you guys, if you want to do the sleep induced method where you just take like melatonin or whatever, and I mean, I definitely don't want to do that and go to my hero. They will literally eat me alive there if I did that. They would probably be so happy if I came there and just went along with everything they wanted. It'd be like over for me. That's how Frodo came. Because was I trying a sleep method? I think I was. I was trying a shifting method where I wrote things down. I wrote it down. What else? I put it under my pillow or something. And then you're supposed to like pass out. And that's when I ended up in the Resident Evil universe, which is where I was trying to go. I was trying to be head of the organization leading them out. If you guys watch my old video, like on Resident Evil 4, where I was trying to be like the leader of Leon's team and have the team meet them in the middle. I had all these plans in place for how I was gonna make it work and it failed. Oh yeah, and then instead I got a baby. So yeah. I don't know. It's I feel like for me it's too dangerous for me to do it that way. But if you're trying to go to a place like My Little Pony or Jewel Pet or something, like I did that one time and I ended up in a Digimon universe. Yeah. So a lot of stuff like that happens to me. That's why I only shift to my hero, but I mean I might start shifting other places too. Because I'm really thinking about like a winter wonderland or something. I really want to go somewhere like there. Or I want to go to like I don't know, just somewhere really nice. Like my hero is great, but I do want to try to go other places. I stopped for a while. Maybe Vampire Night again. I did that and that was like also a disaster. So was Diabolic Lovers. I went to JoJo. I went to JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I want to go to Shugochara next, and I'm thinking maybe I'll go to like Mario. Yeah, Mario, like Super Mario Brothers. Go to them. I'm thinking about that. So I don't know. Anyway, I just wanted to share that with you guys. Don't forget about the don't forget to use your safe word when you shift. It's just 100%. The method is 100%. It will like pull you away from wherever you are. You'll have a way out, a backup, and escape. Never give up hope. Never give up hope. All right, guys, I'm gonna let you go now. I feel like I've held you long enough in this video. I guess I'll see you guys in my next video. Everyone, have a great day. Bye.